I never imagined that flipping burgers in the dusty heat of Arizona's high desert would lead me straight into the heart of my family's deepest secrets. My name is Emily, and at 35, I'd carved out a life that felt solid, earned through sweat and sheer will. Our home in Sedona sat nestled among red rock canyons, where the sun baked everything into sharp relief. I just wrapped up a video conference with investors for my renewable energy startup, Red Rock Renewables, feeling that rare buzz of accomplishment. The kids' backpacks were lined up by the door, ready for school, and my husband, Jake, had already headed out for his shift at the local clinic. Mornings like this made the chaos worthwhile. The phone vibrated on the counter, pulling me back. Mom's name lit up the screen, Linda. A knot formed in my gut, the kind that had been there since childhood. Emily, darling. Her voice oozed that familiar warmth, the one she saved for favors. It's been ages. We're planning a family get-together at the old ranch next weekend. You have to come, bring the whole crew. I hadn't talked to her in months. The last gathering, my brother Tom's birthday, had been a masterclass in her subtle digs, praising Tom's adventurous spirit while questioning why I seemed so worn out, implying my career was stealing time from family. The unspoken label hung heavy, successful, but distant. I'll check with Jake, I said, already mentally drafting an excuse. The kids have Little League starting up. Her sigh was dramatic, laced with disappointment. Oh, Emily. Family first. You know, Tom will be crushed. He's hit a rough patch. That solar panel gig fell through. Which one? I nearly asked. The food truck flop? The crypto scheme? The vintage car restoration that never revved up? But I held back. As always. I'll think on it. Mom. Please do. And maybe. Could you spot him a bit? Just to tide him over. You're thriving with that company of yours. There it was, the real hook. I felt the old mix of guilt and frustration rise, like dust in a desert wind. Growing up in our family's sprawling ranch outside Phoenix, life had been a careful performance. Linda ruled with a velvet glove, curating our image for neighbors and church folk. We looked picture-perfect, barbecues under starry skies, kids in cowboy boots, holidays with matching outfits. But beneath it, control simmered. Tom was the golden boy, free to dream big and fail bigger, while I was the steady one, expected to pick up the pieces. By high school, I juggled jobs at local diners, saving for college, only for Linda to dip in. A broken fence, Tom's new boots, a family emergency. Blood takes care of blood, she'd say. And I'd fork over what I could. College at Arizona State was my breakout. But the pulls followed. Calls about Tom's latest setback, a drop semester, a therapy stint he quit. I'd send money from my loans, work extra shifts, all while Linda remodeled the ranch kitchen with fancy tiles. Not everyone's cut out for the grind like you, Emily, she'd say, making my drive sound like a flaw. In my 20s, Tom bounced through gigs, ranch hand, day trader, music promoter. Each crash came with excuses. Linda's enabling. When I landed my first big role in renewables, her praise twisted into worry about my workaholic ways. Tom's move back to the ranch at 32? A smart reset. The ranch get-together loomed, but something in her tone nagged, a desperate edge. I confided in Jake that evening, as we watched the sunset paint the rocks orange. She's scheming again, he said, his hand on mine. Don't let her drag you in. He was right. He'd seen through her from day one, not burdened by the history. But family ties die hard in the West, where loyalty's as vast as the horizon. The drive to the ranch took us through endless saguaros, the kids buzzing in the back. Jake squeezed my hand. "We can bail anytime." Linda greeted us on the porch, in her embroidered blouse, arms open wide. The hug felt obligatory. Tom slouched behind, looking rough around the edges. The day dragged in small talk and grilled steaks. Linda boasting about the spread's cost. Tom spinning yarns about his next big idea, a wind farm app that investors loved. I ended up in the kitchen, chopping veggies while she played hostess. "Emily's always so reliable," she told Aunt Clara, turning it into a backhanded compliment. After dusk, she pulled me for a walk along the dry creek bed. "I'm thrilled you came. Family's all we got out here." I nodded vaguely. Tom's onto something real this time. But he needs seed money, say, 15 grand. Think of it as an investment. The sum hit like a scorpion sting, bigger than before.
Mom.
I can't. Tom's got to stand on his own. Her eyes narrowed. Selfish as ever. You've got plenty, while your brother's scraping by. The words inverted reality so completely, I nearly snapped. Instead, she handed me a thick envelope. "Do me a favor, drop these off at my advisor in Phoenix. Tax stuff. Time sensitive. Mail's too risky in these parts." The envelope felt weighted. "Why not drive it yourself? You know my eyes ain't what they used to on highways." Tired of the fight, I took it. Back at the house, Jake eyed it suspiciously. "Since when does she trust you with paperwork?" His doubt planted a seed. As we drove home under starlit skies, the envelope sat like an unspoken threat. That night, with the kids tucked in, we spread the papers on the table. My breath caught. Loan apps with my forged signature. Credit lines opened in my name. A business loan for Tom's venture. Me as guarantor, $80,000 pending. "She's been at this for months," Jake whispered. As I checked my credit score tanked. Alerts ignored in the bustle. The betrayal burned deep. A wildfire in dry brush. The shock settled in like dust after a storm, choking everything. I stared at the documents, my hands trembling. One loan, $40,000, deposited into an account linked to Linda's ranch. Another, a line of credit maxed out on what looked like Tom's failed app development. My signature, practiced to perfection. "This is identity theft. Plain and simple," Jake said, his voice steady but eyes furious. "We call the cops now, but in the West, family feuds run deep. Reporting your own blood felt like crossing a canyon without a bridge." I contacted a lawyer the next day. Sarah, a sharp Phoenix attorney specializing in financial crimes. "This is textbook fraud," she said over coffee in her sun-drenched office. "Forged signatures, unauthorized accounts, federal if it crosses state lines. But proving intent's key." We filed reports with the FTC, froze my credit, notified banks. The process was a grind, like herding cattle through narrow gates. Meanwhile, work at Red Rock piled up. I confided in my partner, Mark, who locked down my access temporarily for security. Linda's calls started flooding in. Sweet at first. "Emily? Honey, let's talk this out." Then sharper. "You're overreacting. It's just family helping family."
Tom texta casually, sis.
"Mom said you'd invest in the app. Need 10K ASAP. It's booming." I ignored them, but the guilt gnawed. Echoes of childhood where I was always the fixer. Flashbacks hit hard. Growing up, the ranch was our world, wide open spaces hiding tight controls. Linda doled out allowances like rewards. Tom got extras for his creativity. I got lectures on responsibility. When I won a state science fair at 15, She displayed the ribbon, but fretted I was too bookish. Not enough heart. Tom's sees? Boys will be boys. I worked summers at dude ranches, saving for tuition, only for funds to vanish into family needs. College loans piled up while Linda bought Tom a used truck he wrecked twice. In my 20s, the cycle spun on. Tom's schemes flopped, eco-tour guides, Bitcoin mining, each failed by Linda, often with my loans that never returned. When Jake and I married in a simple canyon ceremony, Linda ballooned it into a spectacle, then billed us for extras. Blood sticks together, she'd say. But her favoritism carved wounds. I was the cold achiever, Tom the sensitive soul.
Now.
The fraud escalated. An anonymous email hit my work inbox, accusing me of siphoning grant funds, details only an insider could know. Mark called me in. We have to investigate. Emily. Standard protocol. Suspended pending review. I drove home in a daze, the red rocks blurring. She hacked me, I told Jake. Remember her tech trouble last month? I logged in from her laptop. We pieced it. She'd likely hired a hacker. Captured credentials.
Così mia.
Distanced from the drama. Confirmed over a call. Tom bragged about Linda paying some guy cash for computer upgrades. Thought it was funny. The puzzle snapped together. But Linda didn't stop. Fake reviews tanked my LinkedIn. Whispers reached the kids' school about unstable home. Jake's clinic got calls questioning his ethics. Our mailbox filled with warnings to neighbors. It's harassment now, Sarah said. File for a restraining order. The judge granted it, citing the fraud scope. But the emotional toll mounted. The kids sensed the tension, asking why grandma's photos were gone. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, I told them, hugging tight. The FBI got involved when traces led to interstate wires. Agent Ramirez, a no-nonsense type from the Tucson office, reviewed the files. Your mother's built a web here, decades of small frauds on relatives. But this? Personal. Targeted. They found old schemes. Aunt Rose's credit dipped mysteriously. Uncle Pete's SS benefits rerouted post-death. We need more, Ramirez said. A confession seals it. I agreed to a wired meet. Unblocking Linda. Let's talk, I texted. Finally, she replied. We met at a bustling diner in Flagstaff. Red vinyl booths under fluorescent lights. She looked worn, but composed. Emily. This nonsense ends now. Drop the complaints, it's a mix-up. The wire hummed against my skin. It's fraud.
Mom.
Loans in my name. Hacks at work.
She leaned in.
Borrowed. Not stole. For Tom, he's got potential. You never saw that. Always hoarding your success. Her words stung. But I pressed. You hired that hacker. She faltered. Paid a kid to fix my computer, nothing more. But cracks showed. The loans were for family. Practiced your signature myself, had to. Since you wouldn't help. Admissions tumbled. The forgeries. Tom's involvement in spending sprees. He needed that Vegas trip to network. Your money funded it. I stood, signaling agents outside. It's over. Her face crumpled as they entered. My own daughter. For what? For justice, I said softly. Handcuffs clicked. Tom's arrest followed, his texts and emails damning. The drive home felt lighter. The desert vast and forgiving. But doubt lingered. Had I gone too far? The arrests made ripples across our tight-knit Western community, where news travels faster than a dust devil. Linda and Tom were held in Phoenix detention. Bail denied due to flight risk. Tom had booked one-way tickets to Vegas with stolen funds. The FBI's net widened. The hacker, a local kid, flipped quickly, detailing Linda's payments and instructions. Evidence mounted like stacked hay bales, forgeries, IP traces, bank trails. But the human cost weighed heavy. I visited Linda in jail.
Through plexiglass.
Her orange jumpsuit a stark contrast to her ranch finery.
Why?
Emily, she whispered, eyes red-rimmed. I did it for us, for Tom to thrive. Her motives peeled back. A widow since Dad's accident. She'd funneled grief into protecting Tom, seeing my strength as a threat. You left us behind, she said. It hurt, but I saw her pain, twisted love, not pure malice. Tom's call came next. Collect from lockup. Cease. I messed up. Mom pushed, but I went along. Scared of failing again. His voice cracked, revealing depths I'd ignored, pressure from Linda's favoritism, his own insecurities masked by bravado. I envied you, always had it together. For the first time, vulnerability bridged our gap. Sarah navigated the legal maze. Charges included identity theft, 18 U.S.C. Section 1028. Wire fraud, párrafo 1343. Computer intrusion, Section 1030.
Plea deals possible, she said.
But restitution's mandatory. Repay every cent. Banks reverse loans. My credit mended. Work reinstated me with back pay. Yet scars remained. Trust shattered. Family fractured. Community reactions varied. Some whispered I was heartless. Others sent supportive notes, sharing their own toxic ties. Jake stood rock solid, helping explain to the kids. Grandma and Uncle Tom broke rules. Like stealing cookies, but bigger. They gotta make it right. We started therapy as a family, unpacking generations of dysfunction. As trial loomed, Linda reached out via letter. I see now, pushed you away trying to hold on. Forgive me. Emotions warred, anger at the betrayal, pity for her isolation. Tom wrote too. Wanna change, get help. Find my own path. Their pleas stirred something humane. Revenge felt hollow. I testified calmly, detailing the fraud without venom. It wasn't just money. It eroded trust. The prosecutor pushed hard. But I advocated leniency. Their family. With accountability. Maybe healing. The judge noted my stance. Plea deals landed. Linda. 5 years probation with house arrest at the ranch. Mandatory counseling. Full restitution via asset sales.
Tom.
3 years probation. Community service at a job center. Therapy for dependency issues.
No prison time.
But strict oversight, violate, and bars await. Release day. I picked them up. Silence filled the truck as we drove through canyons. At the ranch, Linda broke. I'm sorry. Emily. Truly. Tears flowed. Hers.
Mine.
Tom hugged awkwardly. Thanks for not pushing harder. I'll pay you back every dime. We talked late into night, airing grievances. Her favoritism stemmed from losing Dad young. Fearing Tom's fragility mirrored his. My resentment from feeling unseen. We all deserve better, I said. Boundaries set, no more loans, therapy mandatory. Tom enrolled in trade school for solar tech, ironic, but fitting. Linda volunteered at a senior center, finding purpose beyond control. Months passed. The ranch hosted a tentative barbecue. Laughter mixed with caution, but genuine. The kids played with Tom, who shared stories without boasts. Linda confided, proud of you. Always was just bad at showing. Healing wasn't instant. Like monsoon rains after drought, gradual. Nourishing. I learned forgiveness doesn't erase hurt, but frees you. Family's not blind loyalty, but mutual respect. Life post-fraud settled into a new rhythm. The desert's harsh beauty a reminder of resilience. At Red Rock, business boomed. Irony struck when Tom's trade school connected him to our suppliers, turning past schemes into legitimate ties.
No favors, y Barnett.
But his earnest work impressed. He repaid installments diligently. Pride in his eyes. Linda adapted to probation. Her ankle monitor a constant hum. Counseling unearthed layers. Childhood poverty shaped her scarcity mindset, favoring Tom as the vulnerable one. I projected my fears, she admitted during a family session. We confronted patterns, my overachieving as armor, Tom's avoidance as escape. Jake mediated, his outsider perspective grounding us. Challenges arose. Old habits died hard. Linda slipped once, suggesting I spot Tom for tools. No, I said firmly. Earn it. She backed down, apologizing. Tom faced setbacks, a job loss, but sought help instead of excuses. Learned from the best, he quipped,
Nodding at me.
Community mended too. Neighbors, once wary, shared barbecues, stories of their own family rifts. Takes guts to forgive, one said. The kids thrived. Therapy helping them process. Grandma's learning, like we do at school. A year in, we hiked the Grand Canyon as a family, symbolic. Edges sharp but views vast. Linda paused at a viewpoint. This fraud. It broke us. But maybe rebuilt stronger. Tom added, I get it now, success ain't handouts. Emotions swelled. We hugged. Wind whipping around. Work-life balanced, I delegated more. Prioritizing sunsets with Jake. Coaching the kids' teams. Red Rock expanded. But family dinners became sacred, no phones. Just connection. Yet doubts lingered. Could trust fully return? A scare came when Linda's advisor flagged a suspicious transfer. Turned out legitimate. But it tested us. Transparency from here, she vowed. Tom launched a small solar install business, crediting my influence. You showed me grit. Linda's volunteering bloomed into mentoring at-risk youth, channeling her protective instincts positively. Holidays transformed, no forced perfection, just authentic joy. At Christmas, under twinkling lights on the ranch porch, gifts were thoughtful, Tom's handmade wind chime. Linda's recipe book with notes on our shared history. Reflection hit during a solo drive through Joshua Tree. The fraud was a catalyst, exposing rot to allow growth. Lesson light but profound. Family's a choice. Nurtured with accountability and grace. 2 years on. Scars faded like weathered sandstone. The probation ended quietly. Linda sold ranch parts for restitution, moving to a modest Sedona cottage near us. Fresh start, she said, eyes clear. Tom thrived, his business partnering with Red Rock ethically, no shortcuts. We gathered often, conversations deeper, sharing dreams, vulnerabilities. Linda opened about Dad's death, her enabling rooted in unresolved grief. Won't repeat it. Tom mentored nephews, teaching self-reliance. The kids adored them. Bonds mended. My life flourished. Red Rock went public. But I stepped back for balance, hiking, volunteering. Jake and I renewed vows in a canyon ceremony. Family cheering genuinely. The ordeal's echo? A quiet strength. We donated to fraud victims' support, turning pain to purpose. Redemption's possible, I told groups. Story anonymized. One evening, stargazing on the porch, Linda squeezed my hand. Thank you for justice. And mercy. Tom nodded. Best lesson ever. I smiled. We all learned, family heals when we choose truth over ties. In the West's endless skies, Freedom felt complete, not from escape, but embrace. The shocking betrayal led to unexpected healing, proving even deepest wounds can mend with time
Talk.
and tender accountability.